Hare Krishna. Thank you all so much for joining today. And we are continuing our series on Srimad Valmiki Ramayana. And this is the Yudha Kanda that shows how the Lord takes efforts to retrieve the jivas. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashvalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Lankayate Girim Yatkripātamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dīnatarinam Paramanandamādhavam Krishna Chaitanyamīshvaram Namavam Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now for prayers to Valmiki, Lord Ramachandra and Hanuman. Kujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakam Vande Valmiki Kokilam Valmikir Muni Samhasya Kavita Vanacharinaha Shranvan Ramakathanadam Konayate Paramgatim Veda Vede Parepumsi Jati Dashratatmaji Veda Pracheta Sadasi Sakshat Ramayanatmana Anjalanandanam Veeram Janaki Shokanashanam Kapishamakshahantaram Vande Lanka Bhayankaram Manojava Marutatulyavegam Jitendriyam Bhaktimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanarayudamukyam Sri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami Anjaneya Madipatanadanam Kanchanadri Kamaniya Vigraham Parijata Tarumulavasinam Bhavayami Pavamanandanam Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritam Astakanjalin Bhashpavari Paripurna Lochanam Marutim Namata Rakshasantakam Jaitrashata Santrasa Dvantva Vidvamsanodayaha Prabhavan Sitaya Devya Paramapvyama Bhaskaraha Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Shri Rama Nama Varanane. Hare Krishna. So we'll do a quick overview of what we have seen in Yuddhakand so far. At the end of the Sundarakand, Hanuman returned with all the Vanaras and gave the good news to Lord Ramachandra that Sita was seen. The Yuddhakand begins with Ramachandra's congratulating Hanuman for crossing the ocean, setting Lanka on fire, and returning safe from Lanka. He also appreciated Hanuman that the task that he has done, probably only Garuda can match that task. And he praised his dear messenger and servant, and he was very, very pleased with him. And he says that I can never repay you. So he says, I don't have anything with me, but then I can just do one thing, that is embrace you, trying to repay the service that you have done. So then, very soon, Ramachandra said that we should leave. It is time for us to leave because we have to go to the shore of the ocean, and then we may have to cross that entire ocean to go and see Sita. So Ramachandra, he takes a vow that he will definitely be able to cross the ocean either by his austerity or by forming a bridge or even drying up the ocean. Okay, so then he says, he asks Hanuman, tell me more about Lanka. And Hanuman tells about Lanka was a very highly civilized and well-planned city even in those days. And then he says, but still, we Vanaras, we are very capable and we can definitely be able to enter Lanka and conquer Lanka. So they chose the Abhijit Muhurta. It was already noontime and they decided to leave immediately. And they started traveling towards the southeast direction where Lanka is situated. So there is a description of how the troops of monkeys, they organize themselves into different groups and they traverse the entire southern part of India. And finally, Lord Ramachandra, along with the Vanaras, reached the southern part of the region of the Southern Ocean. And they took 1.5 days, that is 1.5 days, to actually come to the ocean. And then at that time, Lord Ramachandra was feeling very, very intense separation from Sita Devi, and he was remembering Sita in various ways. And Lakshman was consoling him, telling that very soon we will go to Lanka and we will retrieve Sita. Meanwhile, the situation back in Lanka was very tense because Hanuman had just come and set the entire city on fire. So Ravana called for the assembly, he called for all the ministers, and he asked them, what should we do? What do we have to do next? We'll have to take this very, very seriously. An insignificant monkey, he came and he burned the entire kingdom. And he tells that we all have to be unified in the decision that we take. And you have to suggest what we can do to counteract this particular situation. So he talks to all his ministers, and then at that time, all the ministers and all the people in Ravana's assembly, they were just trying to glorify him in various ways. They were telling that, oh, you are our king and you're capable of destroying even the Nagas, the demigods, even you had challenged Kuvera, the Yakshas, and so many other great personalities. So you alone are sufficient to handle the situation. And what to talk about you? Actually, Indrajit alone is enough to handle the situation. And they tell him that actually Hanuman burned Lanka only because we were not very alert at that time. But otherwise, the whole world is so scared of you. So you will definitely be victorious. Meanwhile, the brother of Ravan, who's Vibhishan, the youngest brother, he comes and he says that I think you are speaking too fast, all of you. We have not yet assessed the strength of our opponent. And remember what Ramchandra did. He killed Karadoshan, the demons, 14,000 demons single-handedly. And he's extremely powerful. Just as Messenger was able to burn down the entire Lanka. So I think instead of harboring enmity with him, it is better for us to just give away Sita, and that way the problem will be solved. And on that particular day, Kumbhakarna was awake. And then when Ravana asked Kumbhakarna's suggestion, Kumbhakarna initially he told Ravan that you actually did a mistake. You should have consulted with me before you kidnapped Sita. Why did you in a hurry kidnap her and now you're suffering? But then the whatever is done is already done, and you are my brother, and I will definitely stand by you. So, meanwhile, there was another demon by the name Mahaparshva. So, this Mahaparshva comes and asks this question, which everyone would have had in their mind. If he had kept Sita with him for so many days, then why didn't he take advantage of Sita? And Ravana himself, he discloses that he already had a curse, okay, from this Apsara by the name Punjikasthala. So if he would touch any woman, his head would burst into many pieces. So then Vibhishan, again, he interjects and he says, actually, you're my elder brother, and I really desire your welfare. You're overcome by lust and you're behaving like this, and the people who are advising you, they are only going to bring about your destruction. That is not at all a good advice. They telling that you should wage a war with Ram and you're single-handedly capable of facing Ram. Actually, a true counselor is one who knows the strength of his master and his enemies, and he gives the appropriate advice. So, my advice is that just give back Sita. So, like this, when Vibhishan was speaking, Indrajit, he interjects, and Indrajit says that you are not fit to be a demon, my dear uncle. You're such an insult to our entire family. And then Ravana also chastises Vibhishan, and he tells Vibhishan that it is better to live with a serpent than live with relatives like you who are actually our enemy. So he says that, and at that time, Vibhishan felt extremely bad, and he thought, I'm not going to stay here anymore. And it was on the same day of Falgun Mas Purnima Tithi when these Vanaras had reached the shore of the ocean. On that day, of that particular day, Abravicha tada vakyam jata krodho vibhishana antarikshagata shriman rataram rakshasadipam. So hearing those harsh words from Ravana, Vibhishan, who was on the side of justice, holding a mace in his hand by his mystic power, he soars high into the sky with four other demons who are loyal to him. So Vibhishan, generally, right, when one person starts a new party, there are a few people who join him. So like that, these four loyal demons, they also join Vibhishan and they rise up into the sky and they decide to leave. So he tells, "Oh Ravan, you're my brother. You can say whatever you like. Elder brother is like a father, and you're not staying in the right path. So I really don't wish to see you like this. And I know for sure you'll be killed by Ravan if you continue to harbor such intentions. So please keep in mind whatever I spoke to you. You can guard the city with your demon associates, but let all well be with you. And I am departing. Be a happy person without me." And he leaves. So this is what happens in the case of Vibhishan. And then Vibhishan, what did he do? So Vibhishan, he rose into the sky and then he started traveling through the sky across the ocean and he came to the shore of the ocean on the India side, on our land side. So he comes from the southern direction. For him, it is the northern. He's traveling in the northern direction. He comes to the northern shore, which is our southern shore. So there he comes and then he sees all the Vanaras who are stationed there. And from a distance, these Vanaras headed by Sugriva and others, they looked at 4 plus 1, totally. All these five people, Rakshasas, they could identify these were Rakshasas and they are coming in the sky. So Sugriva, he looked at all the monkeys who were with him, and especially Hanuman, and he tells, "Hey, look at that! There is this demon, and he's possessing all types of weapons, and he's coming with four demons. There is no doubt that he's coming to kill us." So he says this out of haste. Sugriva, he looks at Hanuman, and he says this out of haste. Look at the demon. He's coming with four other demons and he's having all kinds of weapons. And there is no doubt that he's coming to kill us. Now, the commentators mentioned that Sugriva, he was saying this in great haste. Okay. Why? Because he was actually Vibhishan at this point in time, he just comes with one particular gada, that's the maximum, weapon that he has, because he leaves back everything, right? He leaves back everything and he just has one gada and he's got folded palms when he is in the sky, like you see in this picture. He's just with folded palms. That is what his situation is. But then when Sugriva sees him, he declares that Vibhishan and all of them, they've come with multiple weapons. So they begin to discuss with each other. So the commentator asks, why does Sugriva say that? Why? Because he's got this intent that he wants to his master, Lord Ram. So when he sees, an enemy coming, he's overestimating, meaning like he's getting very scared. Oh, look at this enemy. He's come with so many weapons. There is also another comment where what does all the weapons mean? All the weapons, there is only one particular weapon that can even defeat the Lord. So this Vibhishan had all the weapons, meaning he had all the weapons with which he can defeat the Lord. And that weapon is the Anjali Mudra, that is folding one's palms. So actually, Vibhishan was folding his palms and standing. And that is a weapon by which the Lord also gets defeated. Even the Lord also submits to his devotee when a devotee folds his palms. So the understanding is Jalayati iti Anjali. Akara is for Vishnu, right? So Krishna also says that he's represented by Akara. So this he Jalayati, meaning his eyes becomes filled with tears out of compassion, out of love. When does it become filled with tears? When one folds one's palm. So that is considered as Sarva Ayudam. One weapon with which you can even conquer the Lord is the Anjali Mudra. So that is exactly what Vibhishan was holding. And it appeared like all the weapons are with Vibhishana, and Vibhishana is going to conquer the Lord. Okay. So, like that, the Vanaras, they began to discuss. Why was Sugriv saying this? Sugriv was saying this because he was overwhelmed. He was so worried and concerned about the protection of the Lord. So, he was overwhelmed and he was saying, oh, he has so many weapons. But actually, he didn't have any weapons. And the only weapon he probably had was one mace, which also he was holding between his palms. So now Sugriva, he looks at all the Vanaras and he says, look at this, look at this, look at, he's coming to attack us. But then Vibhishan, he was very intelligent. The minute he saw that the Vanaras were looking at him and they were discussing among themselves, he immediately stationed himself in the sky itself. He did not land on ground because he knows very well if he lands, then all the Vanaras are going to pounce on him and kill him. So he was very intelligent. That's what the verse says. This very highly intelligent Vibhishan, he halted in the sky there itself. And he decided to address all the Vanaras from that point itself. So he was halted in the sky and he introduces himself. So he says, there is a demon called as Ravana. He is the king of all demons and he has a very, very bad conduct. I am his younger brother known as Vibhishan. So this is the introduction Vibhishan gives about himself. So first he speaks about his disqualification. So the way we present ourselves also matters a lot. Now Vibhishan did not come to the Vanaras, challenging them for a fight or trying to have a dispute with them. He wanted to amend ways and he wanted to surrender to Ram. So first he said his disqualification. He didn't tell about his greatness, right? So it also tells us how we need to talk based on situation. So he says, I am a demon. He says, there is a demon. First, he introduces Ravan. He says, there is a demon and he is the king of all demons. He has a very bad conduct, and I am his younger brother known as Vibhishan. And he says that Ravana, that brother of mine, he killed a bird by the name Jatayu, and he took away Sita and he has kept her from Janastan, and he has kept her in Lanka. And that unfortunate lady, she is held captive and she is in Lanka amidst many, many demonesses guarding her. Okay, so he tells what mistake his brother did. Okay, obviously Sugriva and others know the mistake. But then Vibhishan is declaring that I'm aware that he has done this. And he says, for my part, I tried to persuade him again and again, telling him that whatever he has done is wrong. I told him in various ways that he should give back Sita to Ram. But, however, he did not listen to me, just like how a perverted person will not accept the prescribed medicine. So sometimes a medicine is given to a person, prescription is given, they have brought the medicine home also, but then they are not sensible to take the medicine. So then what happens? They are in more and more trouble. So similarly, Ravan, the prescription and medicine was given by Vibhishan. But Ravan failed to take the medicine. He rejected the medicine that was appropriate. So Vibhishana is telling, see, he's got a bad conduct. I told him your conduct is bad and the mistake you did is not pardonable. So you give back Sita to Ram. But he did not listen to me, just like how a perverted person will not accept the prescribed medicine. Therefore, I have come here for a reason. So now he has told his intention that he doesn't mean any harm to them. And then why has he come here? Okay, if that is his intention, he advised Raman, Raman didn't listen. But then why did he come here? He tells Raghavam Sharanam Gata. Inform Ram immediately that I, Vibhishan, has come here. Why have I come here? Because I want to surrender to Ram. Why do I want to surrender to Ram? Because I tried telling my brother again and again that he is not on the path of Dharma and he would not listen to me. So I gave up his company and I have come here. So this section is called as Vibhishana Sharanagati. Vibhishana Sharanagati is actually the most important part of the entire Valmiki Ramayana. And it has got our commentators coming in and speaking volumes and volumes about the principle of Sharanagati. So we will see the definition of Sharanagati. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishyati iti vishvaso goptritve varanam tata atmanikshepa karpanye shadvita Sharanagatihi. So Sharanagati has 6 aspects. First, to desire only in accordance with the desire of the Lord. So we see Vibhishan actually exhibited all these 6 limbs of surrender. He wanted to have desires that are aligned with the desire of Lord Ram. Number 2, to reject what is not in favor of devotion. So he rejected the proposal of Ravan and he tried to advise Ravan and bring him to the right path. When Ravan did not listen, he rejected Ravana's association. Third, the faith that God will surely protect me. So we say Vibhishan had full faith, otherwise he would not leave everything. In a second, he was ready to give up everything. He says, I've given up my wealth, my name, fame, everything, and I've come here. I've given up everything. I don't have anything with me. Why? Because I have full faith Krishna will protect. So that is a very beautiful limb of Sharanagati. Rakshishyati iti Vishwasa. See, in this material world, we might lose everything. Sometimes devotees are tested so badly that they lose everything. They don't even have a place to stay and they're just gone. Everything is gone. But then they have something very, very valuable. That is, they have full faith that Krishna will protect. Whatever the situation may be, Krishna will ultimately find a way for me. Krishna will protect me. That is Rakshishyati iti Vishwasa. So Vibhishan, he was ready to give up everything and he just rose into the sky and he was ready to come and he had full faith. When I go and stand there, Ramchandra will not refuse me. That faith he had. Right? So that is Rakshishyati iti Vishwasa. Goptritve Varana means actually you call out to the Lord and tell him that he is our maintainer. Okay, that is the meaning of Goptritva Varanam. So understanding Krishna to be our only maintainer or Lord Ramachandra to be our only maintainer and calling out for him. That is Goptritva Varanam. That also Vibhishan is doing. He's telling Sugriv that tell him that I have come here to take shelter of him. Understanding very well that Ram is his only maintainer. And of course, Atmanikshepa, meaning to see everything possesses only to the Lord. Even dedicating oneself, Atmanikshepa, to give oneself to the Lord. And finally, Karpanyam. Karpanyam means giving up pride. Now, there is a very difficult pride that one may not be able to give up. Yeah, we say, okay, we have to become prideless. Trinada pisuni chena tharoriva sahishrana. We say all that. We try to become prideless, but then what happens is in the process of becoming prideless, we become very proud that we are devotees or we have taken shelter of the Lord. We become even proud of being a surrendered soul. So pride is very, very, it's an intricate thing. It gets into us in various ways. So here, the meaning of karpanya means to even give up the pride that, okay, you have become qualified to surrender. That kind of pridelessness is required. And Vibhishana, he exhibited all of this. He came with a very sincere heart. And what did he say? He said, निवेदयत् मां क्षिप्रं राघवाय महात्मने सर्वलोकशरण्याय विभीषणम् उपस्थितम्. So he said, Nivedayat mam. Nivedayat mam means go and inform immediately, because in the previous verse he said, I have come to surrender to Ram. So he tells the Vanaras, go and inform Raghava immediately that Nivedayat mam. I mean, go and tell immediately that I have come. Okay. Mam, Shipram. Shipram means very quickly, immediately. It should be like instant. Raghavaya. You have come for whom? You have come to surrender to whom? Raghavaya Mahatmani. Raghava means Lord Ramachandra, obviously. But then he is not that supreme Lord who is sitting in Vaikuntha. He is that Raghava. Raghava means one who has descended in the Raghu dynasty. That means he has come to this world. So he's very approachable. It's not that now Vibhishan has to wait for some lord in Vaikuntha to surrender to him. No, Vibhishan has Raghava who's very approachable right there in the seashore. Okay, so he calls him Raghava. He's very approachable. He's approachable to everybody. Actually, the Lord, though he is in the spiritual world, he's still very approachable. We are very fortunate. We have deities, right? We have deities, we have Harinam. There are so many ways in which we can easily approach the Lord in this time and age. We have Srimad Bhagavatam. Like that, we can approach the Lord in various ways. So he's very approachable. So he's Raghava. He's Mahatma. Yes, he's the Paramatma in everyone's heart. He's the greatest of all souls. So he is Mahatma. And in fact, this Raghava's Mahatma. That means this Ramachandra who's here, he's the real Mahatma. Not that Lord Narayan and Vaikuntha. That Narayan and Vaikuntha is, yeah, he's Paramatma, he's Mahatma. But then Ramachandra who's come here, he's a greater Mahatma because again he's accessible to the devotees. Sarvaloka Sharanya. He is the only one who is the shelter for all living beings. When he says Sarvaloka, he means to say he is the Ramachandra is the only shelter for the demons, for the demigods, for the Vanaras, for the Asuras, and even for Ravana, for everybody. Be it you or me or whoever it is, for all of us. Don't think he's telling the Vanaras, don't think that Rama belongs only to you. He is Sarvaloka Sharanya. That means he doesn't belong only to the Vanaras, he belongs to everybody. So he tells Sugriva, Nivedayatu Mam. You go, please tell him. That means you represent. This is another element of surrender. When we surrender to the Lord, we generally go through a devotee because we know we need recommendation, right? We talk about recommendation letter and all that. So even when we go to a spiritual master, also we take recommendation. And then the spiritual master recommends us to the Lord. So like that, Vibhishan is telling Nivedayatu Mam, you represent, you go and tell. He's not telling, I will get down, I will go and tell Ram, I will knock at Ram's tent and I will tell him that I have come. No, he says, you go as a messenger. Because only if you go and tell, I will even be accepted. And of course, Shipram means immediately. It shows the desire of Vibhishan. Also, Sharanagati, when you surrender, it should be done immediately. You should not keep postponing. You should not keep thinking, oh, one day I'll surrender. It's okay. No. The minute you know the value of Sharanagati, you should do it immediately. That's why when also we talk about initiation, that's also a format of Sharanagati. It's a physical way of going and surrendering to a spiritual master. So the minute you know that this is the process, this is the method, we should seek a spiritual master and take all steps to get it done immediately. Okay, we should show that intense desire. And he says, upasthitam, actually. See, he says, Nivedayata mam shipram raghavaya mahatmane sarvaloka sharanyaya vibhishanam upasthitam. That means he says, I'm stationed here, I've come here, I'm waiting here. Now, when he says upasthitam, he has full confidence in his heart, Ram will surely accept. Okay, because why? That is also an element of Sharanagati. Rakshashyati Vishwasa. He has full confidence. That's why he says, I'm stationed here. He doesn't say that, I have one leg here and one leg there. If Ram says no, I'll run away. No, full confidence. So he says, upasthitam. I'm stationed here. I'm going to be here only. I know Ramchandra will come and accept me. So it's a very famous verse, the verse spoken by Vibhishan. Nivedayatamam Shipram Raghavaya Mahatmane Sarvaloka Sharanyaya Vibhishanam Upasthitam. Okay, now question comes. This is actually analyzed very in great detail. So we are doing it in detail. We are just not doing the story. We are also doing the analysis of the acharyas here. Especially in Vibhishana Sharanagati, it has to be done in great detail. That's the reason all this analysis comes, especially here in this section. Now the question is asked, can anyone at any time and any condition surrender? The answer is yes. There are absolutely no prerequisites. So you all know how Gajendra, he surrendered when he didn't, he was surrendering when he was in great distress, when a crocodile was biting his leg. So his leg was bleeding and he was fighting. In that condition, he surrendered. It's not that he just took a bath and then he went to the temple and then he offered that lotus flower. No, it was not like that. He was in great pain. His blood was oozing out from his leg, and he was in the middle of a fight. And at that time, he picked up a lotus flower and he chanted prayers to the Lord, and the Lord appeared. And then think about Draupadi. Draupadi was not even in a proper clean condition at that point in time when she was disrobed, but she raised both her hands and she called out to the Lord. So, when you surrender, it's more of it is not just the physicals, it is also a mental, it's a state of mind. So, Draupadi didn't think that, okay, I have to wait for 3 days, then I have to go shower, then only I will surrender. No, she called out to the Lord and she surrendered right there. And Vibhishana, of course, Vibhishana is stationed in the sky, and he's not even in a proper state of, physical state to actually go and do all these rituals and get surrendered. Just in the sky itself, he's saying, I want to surrender right now. So, like that, it actually, the prerequisites are not there for surrender. Anybody in any condition at any point in time, he did not see proper muhurta. He didn't think, okay, let me surrender only in Brahma Muhurta. That is the most favorable time for surrender. No, surrender can be done at any point in time. There is no prerequisite. But, but you should know to whom you are surrendering. Okay, the person to whom you are surrendering should be capable of giving you protection. In Gajendra prayers, we see this very nice Gajendra. He calls out to the Lord and he tells the Lord, only you are the one to whom a person should surrender. Why? Because you are the one who knows that I am in this condition. First of all, you're aware of my situation. Second, you have the intention to save me from the situation. And third, you are completely capable of saving me from the situation. That's why I am surrendering to you and I'm not surrendering to demigods. Like, for example, even the demigods are capable of relieving Gajendra from his situation, but the demigods did not have the intention to save Gajendra. Uh, again, there are others, the elephants, the co-elephants, that is the wives of the Gajendra and others. They all knew that Gajendra was in the situation. They were aware, but did they have the capability? They did not have the capability to save him from that situation. So only the Lord knows our situation, has the intention to save us from the situation, and has the power and capability to save us from the situation. So we should know to whom we are surrendering. And the most appropriate surrender is to the Supreme Lord. And the best reason to surrender to the Lord, of course, we can also surrender for our problems. No problem. I mean, there is absolutely nobody is telling you should not surrender for material problems. You can surrender for anything. Okay, but the best thing to surrender for is to ask the Lord that you want to be his devotee and you want to do bhakti and you want to attain the Lord. So that is the best intention of surrender. That is, you go and surrender to a spiritual master in Guru Parampara and get connected to the chain of disciplic succession and attain the Lord through the right process. That is the best method of surrender. But surrender can be done for anything. Okay. So we saw there are no prerequisites, and ideally you surrender to the Lord. And the best form of surrender is to attain the Lord Himself, meaning to become His servant and be His part and parcel. So, I mean, of course, we are part and parcel, but then to have that desire to become the servant of the Lord or be in the Lord's association, His eternal associate. So that is the best reason to surrender. Now, yes, there are no prerequisites. But then, is there any condition? Is there any qualification in terms of what the mood of the devotee should be? The devotee should be akinchana. Prabhupada says two things. He should be akinchana and he should be ananya bhak. He says this. So, what is the meaning of akinchana? Na kinchana is akinchana. These are direct words from Prabhupada. I'll just read that. Kinchana means something. So na kinchana means one who has nothing to possess. He is called na kinchana, or one who's fully convinced that nothing belongs to me. He is a kinchana. He has the understanding that everything is Krishna's. If one becomes a devotee of Krishna, yasyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana. Akinchana means pridelessness. That's why Krishna's another name is Akinchana Gochara. Even Kunti Maharani calls him Akinchana Gochara. Tvam Akinchana Gochara. He can be understood by Akinchana, one who thinks himself very humble and meek. That means internally, we should not think that we possess something. Once we start thinking we have this, we have that, that means we are thinking that we are capable of taking care of ourselves. Right? So a surrender means when you just leave your hands and you say, I don't have anything, like Draupadi, she left both her hands. So that is akinchana. I don't have anything. So you leave everything. Just like when you pay obeisances, the recommended method, proper method of paying obeisance is both your hands should be on the floor. Okay, your head, your hands, everything should be on the floor. If you're holding something and paying obeisances, that is not proper obeisances. You have to leave. You have to leave everything and say, you're my only shelter, and pay obeisances. So, like that, such a person is akinchana. Now, besides akinchana, he must be ananya bhak, ananya gatitvam. You must have heard of this phrase, ananyagatitvam. That means without deviating your attention to any other demigod or having any other business. Mishra Bhakti, going towards other demigods, thinking of Krishna to be another option. Okay, I will surrender to Krishna, but I'll have a backup option. That doesn't work. Krishna is very possessive. He says, Mami kam sharanam vraja. He's very possessive. Similarly, Sakradeva prapannaya. Ramchandra is also very possessive. So it should be only me, he says. Okay. So if we are having multiple options, then it doesn't work. Surrender will not work. Actually, Krishna or Lord Rama, or generally when we say this Vishnu Tattva, he's the only one who's capable of protecting, actually. Nobody else. Nobody else. Nobody else is capable of giving full protection. So, Ananya Bhak is very, very important. So, there are two qualifications. These are internal qualifications, the mood of the surrendered soul. One is Akinchana, I don't have anything to possess. And the other is Ananya Gatitvam, Ananya Bhak. I will surrender only to Krishna. So, Prabhupada says Ananya Bhak means without deviating his attention to any other demigod or any other business. Ananya Bhak means simply concentrated to Krishna. That is required. Ananya means without deviation. What is that deviation? The deviation is that sometimes we are inclined to become a devotee for some material benefits. This is also a point. If you want to surrender to the Lord to get Him and you're harboring material intentions, then that surrender is tainted, right? It is not clean, it is not Shuddha Bhakti. Here it is said that you should have Ananya Bhakti without deviation, without material profit. You have to become a pure devotee. Then you can attain the spiritual world, especially when you're surrendering for the sake of the highest thing, highest goal, which is love of God. At that time, you should only desire to have the Lord. No other material desire should come in between. And Ananya Gatitvam also. You should not go to anybody else. You should only go to Krishna. Then only it will be achieved. Your desire will be fulfilled. And most importantly, a very important limb of surrender is that it should be done through a devotee representative. We see how Vibhishan, he says that I'm staying here, upasthitam. He says, go immediately and tell Raghava that I have come here. He tells Sugriva, he says, if you recommend, then Ram may listen. So, like that, we have to always, when we say surrender, we are surrendering to the Lord. We are telling the Lord, I am yours. We just don't go and say, directly approach the Lord. Yes, you can directly approach the Lord. There is no harm. Many devotees have directly approached the Lord. But then we don't know if the Lord is really going to look at us or not. But we know for sure the Lord is very close to some of his devotees who are very dear to him. We know for sure he is going to look at his dear devotee. So therefore, we go through a spiritual master. And Prabhupada says, by the grace of the spiritual master, the cloud of mercy of the personality of God, it is brought in. And then only when the rains of Krishna consciousness fall, can the fire of material existence be extinguished. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam 3:21-17. Such a beautiful analogy Prabhupada gives. By the grace of the spiritual master, the cloud of mercy of personality of Godhead is brought in, and then only when the rains of Krishna consciousness fall can the fire of material existence be extinguished. So it is extremely important to go through a devotee representative. Now, so our Vibhishan, he had all the elements of surrender and it was a perfect surrender. But then when he went through this devotee representative got very alarmed. Why? Why did Sugriva have a different reaction? Sometimes it happens. We see even in today's world also sometimes, you go through a particular devotee representative and the devotee representative will have a totally different agenda sometimes. But here the reason was very clear why Sugriv was very worried. Sugriva didn't have faith in Vibhishan. Okay. Why was he reacting like this? Why was Sugriva having, Vibhishan very sincerely, he was standing there and he was telling, give me recommendation. And Sugriv, he goes and cuts a different picture in front of Ram. Why does Sugriv do that? Again, the Acharyas, they comment that is because of intense love for Lord Ram. Sometimes when you have too much love for a person, you're constantly worried about that person's protection. So you're doubting things around you. You know there is danger everywhere for your beloved. So you're doubting, oh, is this going to harm my loved one? So that is the mood in which Sugriv actually first suspects the intentions of Vibhishan. So he goes to Ram and he goes running to the tent where Ram is and he says, oh, an enemy has come. He belongs to Ravana's army and he has come here to kill us in the very first opportunity. These demons, they can assume a form at their will and they can disappear. They are very strong and deceitful and we cannot trust them at any point in time. He is a spy. He has come and he has come here to succeed, become a member among us and create differences among us. And do you know who that person is? It is none other than Vibhishan. Vibhishan, he's a demon by nature and he's the brother of Ravana, who's our enemy. So he goes and gives this picture to Ram that our enemy's brother, Vibhishan, has come. He's a demon. That is his nature. And why has he come here? He has come here so that he wants to become a member among us and he wants to create differences. And these demons, don't take them lightly. They can assume any form at their will. They're very strong and deceitful. They might act like as if they're very innocent, but we cannot trust them at any point. They will use every opportunity to attack us. After all, he belongs to Ravana's army. So how can we keep trust in him? He is the younger brother of Ravan. He is very famous as known as Vibhishan. And along with four other demons, they have all come here and they're claiming that they want to take refuge of you and they want to surrender unto you. That is their claim, but we cannot understand their intentions just by the words because after all, he's from our enemy's camp. So like this, of course, his intention, Sugriv's intention was not bad, but Sugriv had intense love for Ram that he was overly protective of Ram. And in haste, this is what he could do, immediately conceive. Somebody from the enemy has come, he's going to attack Ram. That is the only thing that Sugriv was thinking. So that was Sugriv's intention. And he tells Ram, you're very merciful. Sometimes we have very good friends who are very nice in name. And then we tell them, you're too name. You're going to get cheated by this person. So like that, Sugriv says, you're very, very merciful. So you better be careful. He will take advantage of you. And he says, this Vibhishan who's come here is acting like a spy. He has to be killed immediately. So like this, so Sugriva, he goes and he talks to Ram, and then Ram smiles and he addresses everybody and he says, actually, Sugriv has spoken very reasonable words. But I also want to hear everybody's opinion. This is what Ramachandra says. Ramachandra, in his heart of heart, he wants to give shelter to Vibhishan. But then he also sees the intense love that Sugriv has. How Sugriv is trying to be overly protective. So now Ramachandra, without hurting the sentiments of Sugriv, at the same time wanting to accept the surrender of Vibhishan, he tries to strike a conversation in which everybody's opinion is weighted and then he takes a final decision. So he calls everybody and he tells, oh, Sugriv has actually spoken very nicely. But then I want to hear everybody's opinion. He's hoping somebody will speak in his favor and then he can gather some strength, okay, to speak, saying that no, 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 we should give shelter to be patient. So he says, I want to hear everybody's opinion. So you all tell, what is your advice? This is Sugriv's advice. But then what about all of you? What is your opinion about Vibhishan? So saying that Ram's face was a little withered, hearing the words of Sugriv, everybody could understand Ram is not very happy to disregard Vibhishan. So, seeing that withered face, the rest of the Vanras also, they said the same thing, but they said it in a more polished manner because they didn't want to hurt Ram further. But the content was the same, but they were trying to present it in a very polished manner. So, Angada, who was the youngest, he said, okay, let's test him. You know, the youngsters are always after exams. So, yeah, Angada says, let's test him and check his qualities, then we can accept him. So Angada says we don't have to reject him at the onset, but then we can test him and understand his intentions, then we can accept him. Next, Sharaba, he says, instead of conducting a test right now, let's send a spy and let's ask that spy to go and understand the intentions of Vibhishan. Jambavan, who is the oldest member, generally older people, they always analyze the situation, right? So he says, this man, he has come in the wrong place at the wrong time. Hanuman has burnt Lanka, and at this time, Vibhishan should be giving shoulder to his brother and consoling his brother. Instead, he has come at the wrong time. So he is not even taking care of his brother. So how can we trust him? What is the guarantee that he will not do the same for us? I have so much experience in so many years. I've seen so many kinds of people. So he can be a traitor. So he should be suspected by all means. And then Mainda, who's the other one of the other Manaras, he says with very sweet words, you know what we should do? We should send somebody and with nice sweet words try to find out the intentions of Vibhishan. And then, like this, everybody was giving their opinion. So, everybody, in one sense, they were just trying to say that Vibhishan shouldn't be accepted immediately. But we can make him either undergo a test, or we can send a spy, or we can say some interesting words and do some word play and understand what is in his mind, or maybe we can just reject him. So, these were the advice that was given by all of them who were around Lord Ram. And our commentators, they mention just like how all these Vanaras were giving different opinions to reject a devotee who is Vibhishan. Similarly, it so happens that in a devotee's life, sometimes because of the influence of demigods, okay, influence of demigods, you all know how, even when you look at astrology, for example, you have all these grahas that are causing influences on a human being's life. Mm? So the devas, they always cause impediments in the progress of a devotee, especially when a devotee is taken shelter of the Lord and he's trying to take shelter of the Lord. Okay. It happens every time for everybody. The influence of the devas is there. They are constantly watching, okay, how am I going to affect a human's life? But then we should understand, though the devas are creating so many impediments, the Lord is always taking care of all these impediments. He is the one who's controlling even the devtas. So all these vanaras, they were all amshas of different devtas, right? So they are all causing impediments. But then Lord Ramachandra, though he respects all the Vanaras and he takes their advice seriously, still he supersedes everything and he takes control over a devotee's life. So that is what we learn from this episode. Yes, everybody is going to give opinion. All these devatas are going to create hindrances, but then Krishna will ultimately give shelter to his devotee, whatever difficulty the devotee may go through. So then Ramachandra, he looked at Hanuman, who had actually gone to Lanka, because so far Hanuman did not speak. The rest of the Vanaras spoke. But then there was one person who actually went to Lanka and saw the situation there. And he says, okay, Hanuman, you're not talking. I want to know what your opinion is. Everybody else has spoken, but you are keeping quiet. So you tell me, what is your response? So then Hanuman says, see, I'll give you my response, but whatever I'm going to speak is not for the sake of argument or not for the sake of reducing someone else's opinion, or not just because I'm given an opportunity, I'm going to speak. It's not like that. I am going to tell this out of genuine observation. So he says, my dear Ram, I will tell you one thing. One can easily make out whether a person is sincerely or not. And I'm not trying to tell this out of any bad intentions, trying to win over another person's argument. Look at Vibhishan. He speaks very clearly. I saw Vibhishan when he was talking. He spoke very, very clearly. He was not hiding anything, and his face was bright. Okay, face is the index of the mind, right? So when you have malicious intentions, those intentions will be reflected on the face somehow or the other. It's very difficult to hide. A deceitful person will not approach so fearlessly and so confidently. And if at all he had a different agenda, he would have it would have come out, in some way, in his body language or in his face or in his eyes. And actually, if his intentions were totally different, he could have as well sent someone else to assess things about us. And then, after making a detailed plan, he would have later come, after sending a spy. But then, what did Vibhishan do? He came in a straightforward manner. He just came. He didn't send somebody to find out this how the situation is, and then after chalking out a plan, he did, it's not like he took his time and then he came. No, he just came, and some associates have come with him. His expression is not bad. His face is very clear. He's approaching very fearlessly. So I don't have any doubt in him. It is not possible to hide expressions of the face, even if it is trying to get concealed. So by force, the internal intent of the person will get revealed somehow or the other. So what I have understood is, seeing your perseverance, he tells Ram, seeing your perseverance of trying to get Sita and the very bad conduct of Ravan, and also about hearing your glories, he has deliberately come here. Intentionally, he has come here, and therefore, since he has come here at this time, the timing is perfect, he says. Jambavan said the timing is wrong, but Hanuman says, no, the timing is perfect. Why? Because he could assess, he could see Ravana's bad conduct, and he could understand that you're on the right side. So at the perfect time, he left his brother because he wanted to stand on the right side. Just this one quality is enough to accept him, and that is what I sincerely feel. And you are ultimately the final judge of this issue. He also says few other things. He says that some of them said we should test him and we should send a spy and all that, but it is too late for that. He is already here and he says he wants to surrender. So when are you going to send a spy? When are you going to conduct a test? All this is not practical. But then just by seeing him itself, you can understand that the test has been passed. Why? Because his expressions is very clear and he is fearless. Then he says, this is my opinion. He should be accepted. He's good. He says one more thing also, Hanuman. He says, I have personally been to Lanka and I have seen when when I was held captive in the palace and Ravana said that I should be killed, at that time it was Vibhishan who spoke up. He said, according to Dharma, a messenger should not be punished. So this Vibhishan is very clear. He knows what is Dharma, what is Adharma, and he wants to stand by Dharma. So whatever he is coming here for, his intentions are not bad. He's a nice person, so he should be accepted. So this was Hanuman's argument. Now Ramachandra, he approved Sugriva's point that yes, Vibhishan is a demon. Okay. And we don't know his intentions. We really don't know what Vibhishan's intentions are. This is what Sugriv said. So he accepted what Sugriv said. He said, yes, Vibhishan is a demon. After all, he's Raman's brother. And we don't know his intentions. Nobody knows his intentions. But then he approved one point of Hanuman, which is Vibhishan should be accepted. Actually, the commentators mention, some people say Ramachandra was very happy with Hanuman's advice, okay? But the commentators say actually he was not happy with anyone's advice. Why? Because Hanuman said he's a good person, so you should accept him. But Ramachandra is telling, even if he is a bad person, I will accept him. So that's why the commentators are telling. Actually, he was a good diplomat, Ramachandra. He's a crowd pleaser. Okay, so what did he do? He took some positive points from Sugriva, some positive points from Hanuman, and he put it together and he gave his final word. And he said, मित्रभावेन संप्राप्तं न त्यजेयं कथंचन दोषो यदि अपि तस्य स्यात् सताम एतद् अगर्हितम्. So he says, by any means, I will not desert a person who arrives even with a so-called friendly appearance. Mitra bhavena. Okay, he might not have true intentions of friendship, but he might just come with a fake friendly appearance. Even if he has any defect in any situation he may come, still I will accept whoever it may be. And the great souls, satam etad agarhitam, the great souls in the past have always recommended this and they have approved this. So what does it matter whether the demon is very good or very bad? Mitra Bhavena. Mitra Bhavena means just a friendly appearance, meaning he might have a different intention, but at least he's posing as a friend. That is enough. Sampraptam. He has come here. He's already come. Actually, when a person wants to surrender, when he's thinking I should surrender to the Lord says, I should go to that person and accept him. Rather, I have given him the trouble to come all the way here and stand there waiting for me to accept him. So he has already arrived. So why I won't give shelter? Natyajeyam. I will never give up on him. You know, he's Achyuta, Achyutanya, Chavatiti Achyuta. I will never let my devotee go. I will never, slip the hand. I mean, when I hold the devotee's hand, I will not leave it. That is my nature. Natyajeyam. I will never give up on my devotee. Katanchana. In any situation, whatever the situation may be, if he has come and even if he's faking it, even if he's telling, I want to take your shelter, still I will give him a shelter. Whoever he may be, I will give shelter. So he says, even if he has a defect in any situation he may come, even if he comes in a friendly appearance, I will never desert any person. And the great souls, what will this entire Ikshvaku, Raghu, all these great kings think of me, if I have just let a devotee go? No, I will take care of everybody who has come. What does it matter whether the demon is good or bad? Hanuman said he's a good man, accept him. Sugriva said he's a bad man, reject him. I say, whether it is good or bad, whoever he may be, I will accept him. So especially for this, he says, Sampraptam. He's already come here, right? So for that, the commentator says, Ramachandra is meaning to say, when Gajendra was caught by the crocodile, Lord Hari, he came in person. He immediately left everything and he came running. He came running to serve his devotee. And Lord Ramachandra is telling here, I have not done that in this case. I allowed him to take all the trouble to come. The minute Vibhishan had the thought I should surrender to Ram, I should have gone and given him shelter. But I made him take all the trouble to stand in the sky. This was terrible, and he's still standing in the middle of the sky. So I should give him shelter. Says, even if he's bad, he's incapable of doing any harm to me. So why does he say the statement? To console Sugriv and others. Sugriv and others, they were very worried. Will some harm come to Lord Ramachandra? So he smiles and he looks at his associates and he says, don't worry, even if he is bad, his intentions are bad, even if he wants to have malicious thoughts or intentions, still he's incapable of doing any harm to me. Then Sugriva says, Ramachandra, think about this. What if he has come just to kill Ravana, taking your side? He's come here to make friendship with you. He's going to take your side and he only wants the kingdom. So, keeping you as an ally, his true intention is just to kill Ravan. Then what do we do? So, he's thinking of all possible situations. So, Sugriva is telling, yeah, maybe temporary ally. He just wants to come, make some friendship with you to get his task accomplished. He wants Ravan to be killed and he wants to take over the kingdom. What if that is the intention? So Ramchandra says, so what? Still, I will accept him because at least till Ravan is killed, he's not going to harm me. So, where is the problem? Then Sugriva emphasizes he left his brother, that too at this condition. Then, how long is it going to take for him to betray you? He betrayed his brother. And here the commentators are like, yeah, look at who's talking. Because Sugriv also betrayed his brother. He used Ram as an ally and he killed Vali. But at that time, Lord Ramachandra, he says, uh, my dear Sugriva, there is no brother like Bharata. Lakshmana is standing next to him and he says the statement. Rama is telling, there is no brother like Bharata. There is no father son like Dasharatha and me, and there is no friend like you. Why does he say there is no brother like Bharata? See, when Sugriva emphasized that this Vibhishan left his brother during crisis, at that time, Ramachandra is telling there is no brother than Bharata. Bharata, the kingdom was given to him. Ramachandra gave the kingdom to Bharata and he left. But Bharata did not even take up the kingdom. He gave up the kingdom. He gave up everything for the sake of Ramachandra. That kind of sacrifice Bharata is doing. So he says there is no brother like Bharata. And there is no father and son like me and Dasharath. Because Ramachandra, he came to the forest just on the word of his father. That is the chemistry between the father and son there. And of course, he says, there is no suhrid like you. There is no well wishing friend like you. So, like that, he tells Sugriva. So, don't worry. This is okay. I will handle it. But then again, Sugriv says, what if he is just infiltrated? What if he's Ravana's agent? If he's a spy? If he's just come here to understand our strengths and then go back, he's come here with a friendly face and he's going to get all our information and then he'll go back and tell Ravan everything and then they'll gang up together and they'll fight against us. So that is when Ramachandra says, Pishachan Danavan Yakshan Prithivyam Chaiva Rakshasan Anguli Agrena Tan Hanyam Michan Hari Ganeshwara. So he says, Anguli Agrena Tan Hanyam Pishachan Danavan Yakshan Prithivyam Chaiva Rakshasan. So he can be Pishacha, or it can be a Yaksha or a Danava or a Rakshasa, whoever it may be, if they are going to create if it's going to be a big, big problem with this person, whoever he may be, if I wish, I can just destroy them by the tip of my finger. What is there in the tip of the finger? It is the nail. Anguli agrenatan hanyam. I can just pinch him off with the tip of my finger, just like how Lord Narsimhadev did. So he's telling, I am Narsimhadev. I'm not different from Narsimhadev. How long is it going to take for me? With the edge of my finger, I can just pinch him off. So don't worry, whatever the situation may be, I can take care of it. If I desire, he says, if I desire, I can give protection to Ram. If I desire, I can kill them. So don't worry, who can do any harm to me? Then the question is, if you're so capable, the Vanaras might be thinking, then why did you gather such a big troop of so many Vanaras, so many days? You could have gone first day itself, pinched him off and gotten rid of Ravan. But the point is, he says, Icchan Hariganeshwara, O Hariganeshwara, O Lord of all the monkeys. Icchan, if I desire, then only I will kill. But then I don't desire right now. I want to give him an opportunity to also take shelter. Whom does he want to give opportunity? He wants to give even Ravana opportunity to take shelter. So Ramachandra is telling, if I go with so many Vanaras and bears and stand in front of him, in front of Raman, maybe there is a possibility that he might think, oh, such a huge troop, and it's so difficult. So he might think, okay, let me surrender and let me just give away Sita. Then this entire war can be, stopped. So Ichan, if I desire, I can do, but I'm not desiring right now. I want to give him shelter. Okay. Also, the commentator says he's exhibiting his Ishwaratva because he wants to ultimately protect his devotee, whatever the situation may be. Hmm. So these are some commentaries. Then Lord Ramachandra, he tells, don't worry, whoever it is, I will take care of them. And he talks about giving shelter. Okay, the principle of Sharanagati. So we understood how a devotee should be when he's taking shelter. But then the Lord talks about his position, how he will never ever let go of a devotee who has taken shelter of him. Okay, whom is he talking about now? He's talking about Vibhishan, because Vibhishan is still standing in the middle of the sky. So now he says that I will tell you a short story. Now this is Katha by Ram. Okay, so Ram does his Katha and he tells Sugriv and others. I will tell you one short story. Once upon a time, there was a hunter. He came to a forest and he saw two birds on top of a tree. So he took his arrow and he shot one of the birds. The bird that was shot was a female bird. The female pigeon died, and the hunter gathered the pigeon and he went away. Now, the male bird was feeling separation from its female partner, and it was in so much anxiety for many, many days. Then, after a few days, the same hunter he came back to the same place, to the same tree where this male pigeon was sitting, okay, on the branch. When the male pigeon saw that the hunter had come back to the same place, knowing that this was the same hunter that killed his wife, still he could understand that this hunter has come to his house. So, what did he do? He was seeing that this hunter was shivering because that day it so happened when the hunter had returned after many days, he could not find anything. He could not find anything to eat. It was a very, very cold night and he was shivering. And he could not get any food. So he thought he will gather some twigs to light a fire and then take warmth from that fire. So that pigeon helped him gather some twigs also. Okay. And then finally, the pigeon, thinking that this is a guest who has come, this guest is hungry, the pigeon himself fell into the fire and became the food for the hunter. Now, in my case, if the hunter is compared to Ravan, here the hunter has come back. Okay, the same hunter has come back. But in my case, only the hunter's brother Vibhishan has come. In the case of the hunter did not surrender to the pigeon. The hunter just came to the house of the pigeon. But the pigeon thought that he should serve him and fell into the fire. But in this case, the hunter's brother, okay, Ravana's brother Vibhishan has come and he is telling, I'm surrendering unto you, give me shelter. He's begging for shelter. And if I don't give him shelter, I will become lower than the pigeon. What a pigeon did, the world will say Ramachandra couldn't do. So this is indeed the advice of the sadhus also. Kanda Rishi, once upon a time, he said, that one should always give shelter to the surrenders. So a person should be protected with a disciplined mind, even abandoning his own life if needed, and give shelter to the person who's oppressed. Okay, if someone comes, even if an enemy who comes for protection against others, even if the enemy is oppressed or arrogant, it is to be protected. He is to be protected by one who has a disciplined mind, even by abandoning his own life. This is the advice of the sadhus like Kanda Rishi. So, like this, he says, actually dismissing dismissing a person who has taken shelter, Dismissing the principle of Sharanagati is greater than Brahmahati. So this is what Lord Ramachandra says. So if someone has come and taken shelter at our lotus feet, not that they're going to take, but still, if someone has come and folded their palms and surrendered unto us someday, okay, and we say, no, I will not forgive you, I don't like you, and we walk away, then that is worse than Brahmahati dosha. Why? Because that person is surrendering unto you. So you have to avoid protection. So that is proper principle. Mm, I wanted to say something very interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay. If I remember, I'll tell. It just came to my mind and it slipped somehow. So dismissing Sharanagati is greater than Brahmahati. So this was what Lord Ramachandra says. So anyone who says, what I wanted to say is, even in wars also, you see this Kshatriya Dharma, if you see in war fields also, sometimes one kingdom wages a war against the other. So there is a big fight, but sometimes some of the kings, they are not so competent enough to fight. So they go and they take shelter. They go and fall at the feet of the other king and they say, okay, I give up. At that time, you cannot chop off the head of that person, or you cannot fight with a person who has surrendered. You have to excuse and let that person go. That is the principle of, even for the Kshatriyas, when someone comes and surrenders to you, even if he may be your enemy, when he says, I'm incapable, I cannot do anything, you should just let him go. But if you punish a person who has surrendered, it is considered as the greatest sin. Okay, so this principle is there everywhere, and we should keep it in mind. Tomorrow, when someone comes and asks for apology, it's not like, I'll never forgive you. No, it's not like that. One should always be willing to forgive. Okay, now comes the famous Ramacharma Shloka. So, after he says the story of the pigeon and the hunter, he says, Sakradeva prapannaya tavasmi iti chayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai. Dadami etat vratam mama. This is the verse we all have by hearted. But then the exact verse in Ramayana is a little different. And we have to analyze this verse according to Ramayana. So the verse in Ramayana is Sakradeva prapannaya tavasmi iti chayachate abhayam sarva bhutebhyah dadami etat vratam mama. He who seeks refuge in me just once. Sakrid means once. Eva, in me only. He's very possessive. Ramchandra is also possessive. Prapannaya, being only a surrendered, telling me. You have to also tell out, Goptritva Varanam. You should call out to the Lord. You should express your feelings. Telling me that I am yours. Tavasmi. Okay, I am yours. If someone does that, I shall give assurance of safety to that person from all types of beings. That means if that person is threatened by different kinds of beings, be it a demon or a demigod or an animal or a pigeon or whatever, whoever that person is, shelter is given against all living beings, against the attack of all living beings. It also means that whoever you may be, I will give you shelter. You may be a demigod, you may be a vanara, you may be a demon, you may be an elephant, a woman, whatever your situation is, I will give you shelter. This is my solemn pledge, he says. Dadami etat vratam. I've taken a very firm vow. Vratam mama, my firm vow. So let him be either Vibhishan or even Ravana himself. He tells, Ramchandra says, tell him that I will give all assurance of safety to him. Bring him here. It may be Vibhishan or it may be even Ravan. If Ravan wants to surrender also, I am ready. I am willing. Ask him to come here right now. I will give him shelter. So Sakrit. So we'll see each one of these words. Sakrit. This is anavritti. That means avritti means done multiple times. That is repetition. So Sharanagati should be done once. Okay, it's not like every day we go, we tell our Guru Maharaj, I want to now be taken, I want to take shelter. You accept me in the Guru Parampara. And then you take initiation. Then after 10 days, you go to another Guru Maharaj. You go say, I want to take shelter. I want to surrender to the Lord. No, Sakrid means done once. That is surrender. Okay. Eka, Sakrit Eva or Eka. It can be used like Eva or Eka, meaning only him. Only Krishna. You cannot say, okay, one day I'll keep Krishna as a backup plan. I will go to this demigod, that demigod. No, it is only Krishna. This also indicates this person has Vishwasa, that he is completely confident Krishna is protecting. He's also having Goptratva and Karpanya. So all these elements of Sharanagati will get fulfilled when you go through this verse. When Ramachandra is telling this verse itself, he's telling such a person who has Vishwasa, who thinks that I am his only maintainer and who's humble. So that's why he says Eka or Eva, only me, full confidence in me. Prapannaya. Prapannaya is in Chaturthi Vibhakti, which means he's only a surrendered. Meaning, he should be, he's giving protection only to a person who's 100%, who's really, really, who's surrendering. So it's not like Krishna is giving shelter to a person who has no intentions of surrendering. Okay, Prapannaya means only to the surrendered, only to the person who's surrendering. And you can surrender for anything. Prapanna can be for anything. It need not be only for love of God or for moksha. No, it can be for anything. It can be, even in your mind also you can think, in your body also you can surrender, in your words also you can surrender. It can be any goal also. Like for example, Draupadi, she surrendered for sari. Gajendra, he surrendered, of course, he surrendered. Ultimately, he said he wants the Lord, but initially he surrendered to get relief from that situation. Vibhishan, at this point in time, he's surrendering to the Lord, of course, to become the Lord's devotee. But still, surrender can be done for anything, actually. When you are in a terrible condition, you call out to the Lord, you're surrendering. That's all. That is what surrender is. And Prapanna is one who calls out, one who surrenders. Okay. So you can do it for anything. But then in the next word, tavasmi iti cha yachate, yachanam. You're asking either through word or mind or through your body. This is the Visesha Prapanna, the commentators are telling. Visesha Prapanna means asking for the Lord. That is, I am surrendering to you because I want to be your servant. This means the Lord is the Upaya and Upeya. That means your goal is the Lord and the means is also the Lord. So that is when you're verbally asking, iti yachanam, you're begging, you're verbally asking, please protect me. And with your mind is fully entailed, fully in sync with the yachana that you're doing. And your words, the way you speak, what you're speaking, what you're thinking, and your action. Everything. Action meaning you're folding your palms and you're surrendering unto him. When you're doing everything together, that is when this tavasmi iti yachate, this aspect of prapanna comes. Okay, so it's a gradual advancement. So first, there is the mood of a prapanna. Prapanna is calling out to the Lord. Calling out can be for anything. All that is accepted. And especially, Visesha prapanna is when you say tavasmi iti yachate. So like that, you ask verbally with all your mind and with your action. And Krishna says, or Ramachandra says, abhayam dadami. I will give fearlessness. Once you hold your palms, he will show abhayam. Abhayam is this mantra. Abhayam, don't worry, I will take care. Dadami, I will surely give. Sarva bhutepya. Now, the sarva bhutepya can be in both Chaturthi Vibhakti and Panchami Vibhakti. Because if you do the Shabda, you can see in Chaturthi Vibhakti also there is Ramebhyaha, Bhutebhyaha, like that. In Panchami Vibhakti also it is there. Okay, so when it is in Chaturthi Vibhakti, it means from all living entities. Sorry, when it is in Chaturthi Vibhakti, it means he is giving shelter to all living entities. That is, whether he's a demon or a Rakshasa or whoever that person may be, Krishna is willing or Ramachandra is willing to give protection. When it is in Panchami Vibhakti, then the meaning comes that he's giving you shelter from all living entities. Okay, from attack of all living entities. Etat vratam mama. This is my supreme sankalpa. It's a very firm vow. Now, this is Lord Ramachandra. So when he says this is my vow, he really means it. He's not going to lie. So he says, Etad vratam mama. I have this very, very firm vow. So then, after he spoke the Ramacharma shlok, he tells Sugriva, please bring Vibhishan here. And Vibhishan, he was in the middle of the sky. He was neither on the earth, not high up there. He was somewhere in between. He was neither in Lanka nor was he in India. He was somewhere in between, and he was waiting for the Lord's approval. And at this point, actually, the minute Lord Ramchandra said, "Go and bring him here," Sugriva could understand Lord Ram's decision, and he could also understand the greatness of devotees. How Ram always favors his devotees, and he was thinking in his mind, "Oh, even I want to serve this devotee who's Vibhishan." So he decided to serve Vibhishan by bringing him to the Lord. What is the service done by the representative of the Lord? To bring the devotees close to the Lord. Now, Sugriva, he understood his role, that he has to bring the devotee close to the Lord. So Sugriva goes, he asks Vibhishan to descend. Keeping Sugriva in the front, Vibhishan came to Ram. This is a very important element of surrender. Always keep a devotee representative in the front. So like this, when Vibhishan descended, he descended with all the four demons who had come with him. See, one person takes shelter, four other people are getting benefited. This is also true till this day. One person gets initiated, there are tons of others who are also getting that entire congregation who all are favorable, they are all getting initiated, right? So like this, one person comes, four people, free entry. So they all come and they fall flat. Dandam, they pay their obeisances, they fall flat at the feet of Lord Ram. And then Ramachandra raises them. And then Vibhishan, he tells to Ram, Anujo Ravanasyaham tena cha asmi avamanitaha bhavantam sarva bhutanam sharanyam sharanam gata. So he says, Anujo Ravanasyaham. I am the younger brother of Ravana. Tena cha asmi avamanitaha. He did avaman, humiliation. I was humiliated by him. And I've come here, Bhavantam Sarvabhutanam Sharanyam Sharanam Gata. So I've come to take refuge of you, and you are the refuge of all the living entities. So very clear, Vibhishanas. You are indeed the refuge of not only the Vanaras, you are the refuge of all living beings. So who else can give shelter to me? You are the only one who can give shelter to me. परित्यक्त्वा मया लङ्का मित्राणि च धनानि च बहवद्गतं हि मे राज्यं च जीवितं च सुखानि च. So he says, Parityaktva, I have given up Lanka. I have given up my friends, Mitrani Dhanani. I have given up my friends and my possessions, and I place my kingdom and life and happiness at your disposal. So a very clear Vibhishanas. It's not like he just gave it up and he renounced everything. No, he's telling, I've given it up, and whatever I have, my life, including my life, I have submitted it at your lotus feet. It is for at your disposal. Everything is for your service. Me rajyam cha jeevitam cha sukhani cha. Whatever I may have remaining, all that is at your service. So hearing these words of Vibhishan, Ram's heart melts, and he spoke very, very soothing and consoling words, like as if it is applying a nice medicine on Vibhishan's heart. And with love, his eyes were drenched with tears. He felt very apologetic for making Vibhishan wait. This is the merciful nature of Lord Ram. And he accepted Vibhishan. After accepting Vibhishan, Ramachandra, he tells Vibhishan, tell me really the strength and weaknesses of the demons. So, how do we know that Vibhishan was accepted? Actually, immediately after Vibhishan falls down at the feet and he says all this, yes, I said Vibhishan was accepted, but how is it confirmed that Vibhishan was accepted? The commentators say the reason why there is a confirmation by Lord Ram that he's accepted, because Ramchandra can say, okay, yeah, come, okay, fine. But then in his heart of hearts, maybe he didn't accept. That doubt can come. But how do we know that Ramchandra has really accepted Vibhishan? Because he very carefully says the wordings that Ramchandra uses. He says, tell me really the strengths and weaknesses of the demons. That means he's telling, tell me their strengths and weaknesses. Their, not your. Because Ramchandra has now taken Vibhishan as his. Vibhishan has now become a part of Ram's side. So he's telling, tell me about them, not about you or your brother or your Rakshasas. He says, tell me about them. Them. So now you are mine. And of course, Vibhishan did not have the quality of demons at all. And this was also clearly stated by Shurpanaka earlier. When she gives her introduction, she tells about her brother Ravan, who's the king of demons. And she says, I also have another brother, Vibhishan. He's not at all fit to be a demon. So obviously, Vibhishan had no qualities of being a Rakshas. So Ramchandra very clearly says, tell me about those Rakshasas. And then Vibhishan, he begins to describe the strength of Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Indrajit, Prahashta. And he also describes how Ravana had a huge bag of sin. So he tells, my dear Ram, because of a special boon given by Brahma, Ravana cannot be killed by all beings, be it a Gandharva or serpent or birds, etc. But then he had an impression that a human being cannot do anything to him. So, except humans and Vanaras, he has taken a boon that none of the other creatures can actually kill him. And he also describes in great detail the strength about Kumbhakarna, how he can defeat oceans and oceans of warriors at one time. He also talks about Indrajit's Mayajal, how he can do magical warfare, and he talks about the strength of Prahasta and so many others. And he also talks about how Lanka is very, very heavily guarded. And he mainly tells that Ravana has a huge bag of sin and he's extremely proud. That is truly his weakness. So after Ram heard carefully what all Vibhishan had to say, he said, I totally understand whatever you said is 100% true. And I will kill Ravana. Ramchandra says. He says, I will kill Ravana and I will establish you as the king. So immediately he tells Lakshman to bring water from the ocean and he consecrates Vibhishan as the king of Lanka even before he has even crossed the ocean or had a glimpse of Lanka. So he's so confident. Yes, we have won the war. So immediately on the seashore, he asks Lakshmana to bring water and he asks Lakshmana to do Vibhishana Pattabhishekam. That is the consecration of Vibhishan. Why Lakshmana should do? Because Ramachandra has not yet he's not yet entered the city, meaning even for Sugriva also, we discussed this earlier. Sugriva Pattabhishekam was also done by Lakshmana and Hanuman and others, not by Ramchandra, because Ramchandra is still in his exile in the forest. So technically, of course, Lakshmana has followed him, but Lakshmana did not get the order. Lakshmana has joined because of choice, but Lakshmana has the right to do these rituals. So he asks Lakshman to do it. Of course, he says, I will do it right now, meaning through Lakshman, I'm doing. That's what he means. So he consecrates Vibhishan as the king of Lanka even before fighting the war, showing his supremacy. It was Ram's desire to crown Vibhishan, and Lakshman does the ritual. So then the commentators again tell us, so what was this? I mean, it appears that Vibhishan, maybe now people will start thinking the intentions of Vibhishan. Maybe he truly, this was his real intention, and Ram is fulfilling his true intention in his heart that he actually wanted to become the king. But then the commentators say no. His true intention was surrender. Sometimes the Lord, he gives some secondary benediction to a devotee. Though the Lord gives himself to the devotee who is surrendered, out of love and compassion, he can give secondary benediction, but as long as it is favorable in devotion. The secondary benediction can be material opulence, but if he knows that the devotee is going to stay in devotion, he will award that also. So, even in the case of Dhruva, we see the Lord gave secondary benediction. He gave Dhruva great kingdom, but Dhruva stayed a devotee. You see in the case of Sudama, Krishna, he awards a lot of opulence, but he knows very well Sudama will not get distracted by it. The ultimate desire of Sudama was love of Krishna, and that is what Krishna actually awarded. Similarly, Lord Ramachandra, he awards himself to Vibhishan. He gives himself to Vibhishan. But as a secondary benediction, he also does something that is anukul for his devotional service. So this was Vibhishana Sharanagati. It is considered the pinnacle of success, the most complete surrender that had all the elements of Sharanagati. So we'll stop here and then we'll continue from the next section, which is kind of very unexpected, meaning like you wouldn't expect the second section to come through. And it was actually a big failure. So we'll talk about it in our next class.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. It was excellent session. And especially talking about this Vibhishan Sharanagati. And you spoke so wonderfully about how to surrender, whom to surrender, and what are the limbs of surrender. So thank you, Mataji. It was brilliant session, brilliant, as usual, but very nice. Thank you. Dear devotees, if anyone else has any questions, comments, realizations to share, please go ahead.
We are all speechless, Mataji, as usual. But thank you so much for a very, very wonderful class, Mataji. It was very nice, especially the Ram Charama Shloka. Very, very hope-giving, Mataji. So it was a very, very nice class. Looking forward for your next class. Thank you so much. Danvat pranams to you, Mataji.
Thank you, Parima Mataji, for your continued association. It means a lot. Thank you.
Praladananda Prabhu is quoting, Ye me bhakta jana partha me na me bhakta ste jana mad bhakta nam yeta bhakta sta me bhakta tamam.
Wonderful.
Yes, Rachna Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So I just have one question where you said that the Sharanagati, it's a one time, once, you have to surrender once. Now, once, in one, after the Sunday feast lecture of one of His Holiness Ramapad Swami Maharaj, one of the devotees asked the Maharaj that, like when a devotee surrenders, the Lord says that he will protect. So, you know what Ramapad Swami Maharaj said in reply? He said that surrender is not a one-time thing. So,
Yes,
how
I
do you
understand.
understand that? Like,
I addressed this earlier also. That is right. What Maharaj is telling us, it is an internal process. Surrender, the mood of surrender that you cultivate is something internal. Okay, you should always have the mood of surrender. You get that? But when you're talking about Sharanagati as a process, so there is a difference. One is the mood that you cultivate. As a devotee, you always have the mood of surrender. Okay. In all the activities that you're performing, you have the mood of surrender. So it's an ongoing thing. Correct. But at the same time, when we talk about surrender as an action, like for example, I gave this example earlier also, when Draupadi called out for the sari, she called out with full faith once. Okay. She called out the Lord's names and the Lord gave her protection. So if we are going to ask the same thing again and again, it means we are doubting the Lord. When you're asking for something, when you're surrendering for a specific purpose. So when you're doing it, for example, I want something with full faith, you call out to the Lord and tell him, I'm dependent on you and you should protect. You please protect. If we are not having full confidence and faith, we'll keep doing it over and over because we have a doubt in our mind, will he really protect? Like that. So when it is done as an action, that's why we were talking about karmana, vacha and manasa. When it is specifically done as an action, like for example, you're surrendering, you're getting initiated by a spiritual master, you're surrendering to the Lord through a spiritual master to get access to prema bhakti or to get access to moksha or liberation or even go to Goloka Vrindavan for that matter. That time it is done only once. It's not like every day you're not confident, that you're going back to Godhead, or you're not confident the Lord is going to give you protection. It's not like every other day you're going and finding another spiritual master and you're trying to surrender, or even to the same spiritual master. You do it only once, like that. So when we say Sharanagati as an action, as something that is done for a specific purpose, it is done once. But the mood of Sharanagati is something you carry in your heart all your life. Meaning in your entire process of practicing bhakti, you should be a surrendered devotee. Okay, so that is separate, this is separate.
Wow, excellent explanation. Very nice. I understood what you're saying. So, one more thing now in the same thing, uh, like I'm not in a position to take Harinam initiation because of family issues. So, but I have surrendered to chanting Hare Krishna, and Lord is allowing me since 2016 to chant 16 rounds and follow the four regulative principles. So, am I considered a surrendered soul or not yet?
You are surrendered, but yes, the process, that is the process of also taking shelter of a spiritual master, is important, because we don't know if the Lord is really going to consider us. Okay, in the sense that it is very important to be connected to Guru Parampara. So my point is, Mataji, you are surrendered, and just this mood of surrender itself will attract the mercy of the Lord to make it comfortable or convenience you to take Harinam Diksha someday. It may not happen immediately, but then you have told the Lord, right? You want to be His. You have expressed your desire to the Lord. You love the Lord, and you're chanting the holy names. The Lord will definitely. He has given a promise. So definitely He will look at it and He will send the spiritual master, because He knows He has set a particular process. Okay, and He will ensure that the process is in place for everybody. So even if you are having impediments because of family situations, Krishna will clear it for you. And one day a spiritual master will 100% definitely, because you have the faith, will ensure that you also get accepted in the parampara. Okay.
Yes,
So
and
just
I'm ready to wait for any lifetime. I'm not going to give up. That's the point, you know. So
if
one
you
more
have,
thing,
now it's in Krishna's hands. He will take full charge, Mataji. Don't worry. Something He will do.
thank you. So one more thing, now when we say Lord protects, it doesn't really mean that He protects our life force, like in the sense our body, or you know, like you're saying, na, sometimes the devotees are tested, you know, and Lord takes away everything. So that is also, we have to understand that how protection of the Lord comes in our life. We have to understand that in a very mature way, you know.
Or
Yeah.
100%. Thank you for adding that. Yes. Protection is, sometimes we think He has to protect me in this way only. We dictate terms, right? But Krishna, my Guru Maharaj once said, Krishna may or may not protect your body. He specifically said that. A devotee may even die, but still Krishna is protecting him. Why? Because true protection is protection of one's bhakti. That is real protection. So a devotee may undergo terrible, terrible tribulations, but when the bhakti is preserved, that is real protection. Because when that bhakti is there, when that love for Krishna is there, ultimately Krishna has not left you. He's holding on to you. Materially, it may be anything, even to the point of losing one's body. Still, Krishna is holding to you. So protection is by His terms, not by my terms. But still, He's protecting. Yeah, it's difficult. Like you said, maturity should be there. Otherwise, we lose faith. One day we lose faith. Arey, what Krishna consciousness? I did so much. I did this. I chanted. What a waste. One day we lose faith. But Krishna consciousness is so deep. Yeah, like you said, you have to be very mature to understand. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for adding. Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for you. Thank you. I'm so grateful that I'm able to come and attend these beautiful classes. Like you are amazing in your explanations. You have really understood Ramayana. Thank you.
I don't know about that, Mataji, but I pray for your blessings and hope that someday, yeah, we all can access the Lord's mercy. Thank you so much for your very sweet blessings, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Anything else anyone wants to say? Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
hi, Mangi.
Hare Krishna Mataji, my pronouns to you. It's a wonderful class. I just have a little confusion. Maybe I am not understanding myself. So when we are doing prayers, um, those any prayer is not same as Sharnagati. Is the mood is different in the two processes? In general, we say, oh, pray to the Lord. And if you're having some issue, not personal, it may be for, say, okay, Lord, please protect my bhakti. If I'm saying something like this is a prayer, and I'm expressing my mood to the Lord. But what is the difference between the two things?
Uh, check if all the elements of Sharanagati is there. Sharanagati is far more intense. Yes, prayers are good, but then we should also, when we are in a situation, oh yeah, we were discussing this even in the Bhakti Shastri class, right? We were discussing the difference between Sharanapati and Atmanivedan. Atmanivedan is okay. Atmanivedan, the difference was in Atmanivedan, you are like thinking you still possess something, okay, and you're forcibly asked to give it up, like the case of Bali Maharaj. And in a particular circumstance, you have no other go and you have surrendered. So that is Atmanivedan. Now, there is something called Sharanapati. Sharanapati means, like the gopis, whatever the situation may be, I am yours. I don't have anything. I'm completely yours. Just take whatever it is. I don't care how you treat me. So there is a difference between the two. Now, when we talk about prayers and Sharanagati, it is all in the mood. In the prayers, I don't know when we are doing the prayers whether we have all the 6 limbs of Sharanagati. Okay, when we are doing Sharanagati, the primary element is Rakshishyati Vishwasa. Very, very firm faith Krishna is going to protect. Okay, completely surrender. You may treat me however you want. You may do anything with me. Okay, but still I'm surrendered unto you and I have firm faith you'll protect. But you'll protect in your way, I'm still your devotee. So that is Sharanagati. Sharanagati is a state of mind, yes. Sharanagati is far deeper than just offering prayers and asking for help, Mataji. It's a state of mind, state of consciousness that you have to develop. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, no, Mataji, you did. It was a wonderful explanation. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Haribol. Okay, so then.
Yeah. Can we end, Mataji? Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining us, for all of your wonderful association. And thank you so much, Preethi, Vilasini, Mataji. We always look for Monday session for Valmiki Ramayana. Thank you so much for taking out your wonderful time. So thank you. We'll end up here. Let's pay our obeisances. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Shla Prabhupada ki jai, Har Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, dear devotees.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Haribol.